Well, hey y'all, welcome to TLT with Lita. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, but let's go. Let's do this. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Got YouTube up this time. Last time it was not. It was not functioning properly. So let's see if we can get this together here. All right, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to TLT with Lita. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. Why don't y'all let me know how y'all doing? If you are doing well, you can put some fire in the chat or you can put a thumbs up. But I'm excited for our time together today. Every week, I'm excited about us getting together and just sharing some value in the area of leadership. All right, so today's leadership tip is this: building and battling is a leadership dual assignment. Building and battling is a leadership dual assignment. So, if we think about when you're building something, you're building a business, you're building a team, building a mission, building a ministry, whatever you may be building, the reality is that leaders are right smack in the middle of building. A lot of leaders, not all leaders, but many leaders are living in the reality of building and battling at the same time. And so while you are building, a lot of times you can find yourself battling something, whether it could be personal, it could be internal, it can be external, such as things like fear or burnout or doubt or setbacks. Or for those of you who are in Christ, you could be battling the enemy. So today, what I want to do, leaders, is I want to normalize the tension, first of all. I want to normalize the fact that life happens, setbacks happen, and sometimes we just have to learn how to maneuver in the middle of opposition and move around sometimes opposition and even avoid some opposition, because every battle that we fight is not ours to fight. Sometimes we're being fought, but it's not necessarily our fight to fight. So let's normalize the tension. I want to empower leaders to persist, and I want to provide you some tools to help you lead effectively through it all. So, we're talking about, again, the leadership tip today is building and battling. It is a leadership dual assignment. So, if you have felt like you're building something meaningful, but behind the scenes, you're battling something just as real, you need to know that that's not a weakness. That's leadership in the real world. That's just real. So let's talk about how to lead well when you're doing both, when you're building and battling. So help me out, those of you who are on. Are you building and battling right now? Are you building something and battling at the same time right now? If you are, just drop a yes in the chat. All right. So if you want to share, and I want to say this with preference, I know that there are times that you have to do things in silence. You got to do things in stealth mode. I'm not asking anyone to reveal what you're working on privately right now. I am saying that if you are willing to share and you're in a position at a time of your building that you can share, what are you building? And then what's been trying to block you? What's been trying to block it? I think that it is so important that when you're building and battling at the same time, that you identify what's trying to block it. If you can identify what's trying to block it, then you can figure out how you need to either battle it or refuse it. So I want to give you some bit of foundation, and I want to give you some examples of modern day building and battling that's going on. So I want to give you this one biblical example because I think it's relevant and I think it's quite encouraging. If you have been building something and you've been battling at the same time. In the book of Nehemiah, I mentioned this in one of my video uploads. Nehemiah led the building of Jerusalem's walls with a sword in one hand and a tool in the other. That lets me know that when you're leading something, leading people, leading a movement, leading the building of something, sometimes you're going to have your tool for building, whatever that is, in one hand, and you're going to have your weapon to fight in the other. That story in Nehemiah to me is a picture of modern leadership, building in one hand and battling with the other. We have to understand and normalize that this type of tension is a leadership dual assignment. So, some modern day examples can be this: building a business while battling imposter syndrome. I can really testify that I battled at one time imposter syndrome. I would clearly have a win in an area and then I would feel bad about winning. I would feel like I didn't deserve it and I would just feel some type of way and I couldn't understand what that was all about because we should be celebrating our wins, right? So you could be building a business while you're battling imposter syndrome. And I want to encourage those of you who have been feeling like um, you don't know if you deserve to win, you don't think you should build this thing or be successful at whatever it is that you're trying to do. I want to encourage you that you do deserve it. And whatever is battling you in your thought process to make you think you don't, that's not the truth. If you have a burning desire to do something and to accomplish something, do it. Sometimes you're going to have to do it afraid. Sometimes you're going to have to do it without all that you think you should have. Sometimes you're going to have to do it against the naysayers. But build what you've been called to build anyway. Another modern day example is you could be growing a team while grieving personally. Another example is you could be trying to scale your brand while you're navigating financial pressure. I understand that too. Sometimes you want to do certain things to kind of speed up the process of you scaling. But remember, scaling is when you're trying to grow something quickly, but with minimal cost. So the financial pressure, that's normal. So if you're trying to scale your brand and you've been trying to navigate your finances, you feeling under pressure, like you don't have what you need to have. Sometimes you got to step back, regroup. Sometimes you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to sacrifice some things that you would do Um, Normally, as it relates to whatever area in your life, I'm not telling anybody how to navigate your finances. I am saying this, that sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice in order to get to where you want to be. And when you're making those sacrifices, you can't feel bad about it. And you cannot withhold or not make the sacrifice because you're concerned about what people will say or what people think or what people will think of you or think of your decision. Listen, what is it that you're trying to do? If you're trying to do it and it requires a sacrifice, and most scaling does, you're going to have to do what you have to do to reach where you're trying to go. Another example is leading a movement while you're facing criticism or fear. All of these modern examples, I think, is pictured in that story with Nehemiah. They sent him false meeting, they sent him threats, they sent him anything and everything that they thought would cause him to stop doing work. So, the point I want to make to you all when it comes to building and battling, you're going to have to make sure that you don't take on battles unnecessarily. He sent back word to those who were sending the meetings, the false meetings, the fake meetings, those that were threatening him. He sent back and said, "Hey, I'm doing a great work. I can't come down." He said, "Why should I come down to you when I'm doing something great?" And that brings me to this, y'all. You're going to have to know that what you are doing is great. It's greater than what's trying to battle against you. It's greater than you stopping the building because someone is trying to stop you from completing what you need to complete. You need to understand and know that what you are doing is greater than you, it's bigger than you, and it matters. When you start thinking about it in that manner, which I believe Nehemiah thought that what he was doing was greater and for the greater good and the glory of God, he did what he needed to do. He avoided the distractions. That's another thing. Don't let the distractions stop you from doing the work. You're going to have to be laser focused. You can't focus on what you don't have. You can't let imposter syndrome block you and stop you. You can't allow what you feel like you can't afford to cause you not to do one single thing. You can't worry about the critics. The chatter is going to happen because listen, leadership isn't just about progress. It's about perseverance. So even when you're feeling some type of way, you have to learn. I heard this quote from uh goodness, I posted it on one of my stories. He said it like this. He said, matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up. I don't want to misquote what he said. So Dr. Henry Cloud said this. He said, to get to good, you got to do the good when it no longer feels good. You got to get to the good or to get to where you want to go, to get to that place where you finish building what you're building. You're going to have to do the good and, and until and even when it don't even feel good. So building and battling is something that I believe all leaders will have to face at some point in time, especially when you're building something that's great, when you are building something that matters. I need you to normalize the pushback. You're going to get pushback. I said this in one of my uploaded videos. Opposition oftentimes is a key, it is a clue, it is confirmation that you're really doing something that matters. Now, I want to give you some anchors. These anchors are for leaders who are building and battling. The first anchor is be honest about the battle. I'm not saying you got to disclose everything you're going through. I'm saying suppressing the struggle doesn't make it go away. Acknowledge what you're facing so you can lead with integrity. For example, today I'm showing up even though I'm battling fatigue or doubt. That's acknowledging that I'm facing fatigue and I'm facing doubt, but I'm showing up anyway. Authenticity doesn't weaken your leadership, it strengthens it. I know that society may tell you something different, but being authentic doesn't weaken your leadership, it strengthens it. The second anchor is stay anchored in your why. Stay anchored in your why. Remind yourself every day what you're building and why it matters. Because if you're not careful, you'll start looking at what somebody else is doing and you'll start thinking, well, maybe I should be doing what they're doing, or maybe I should be doing it like them. And what I'm trying to tell you is you are a designer's original. The way you do it, no one else can. And you have to remind yourself every day of what you are building and why it matters. Dr. Darius Daniels said it like this. He said, if your why doesn't make you cry, the price you pay is it's gonna always be too high. You gotta be anchored in your why. Create, if you have to, a visual reminder. If it can be a sticky note, some people write on the mirror in the bathroom. It could be a screensaver on your computer. It could be a journal note that you make, but remind yourself of why you're building. Remind yourself what you're doing and why it matters. When the battle gets loud, let your why speak louder. Let it speak louder then. Because when you have a real why, nothing can stop you. Because you understand how critical it is that you finish what you're supposed to finish. The why ought to be in your mind, hey, this is either win or go home. And then the third anchor is build daily. Build daily, even in battle. Progress doesn't require perfection, y'all. Small, consistent action is powerful. Small, consistent action is so powerful because listen, some days you build walls, other days you just lay one brick, and that's enough. Even if it's just one brick, you laid something. You put something on what you were building at that point and at that time and for that day. Even if it's just one brick. Remember that. Even if it's just one post, even if it's just one video, even if it's just one marketing uh, thing, do that one thing. If it's just one brick, that's enough. Lay one brick every day. Build something every day. Even though you may be fighting with all you got what you're using to build in one hand and what you have to fight in the other hand. Build daily, even in the battle. So of these three anchors, which one do you need most? Is it honesty, being honest about the battle? Is it purpose, being anchored in your why? Or is it consistency, building every day? Whichever one you need to do the most, lean into it and do it. Lean into it. I want you to think about it. I want to use this as kind of a coaching moment, if you will. I want to show you how to self coach, if you will. So imagine you have a friend or you're mentoring someone and they're discouraged. They're discouraged because they're battling behind the scenes. You may not necessarily know all the details of what they're battling, but you know that they're discouraged and they're battling something behind the scenes. What advice would you give them to keep building? I want you to think about it. I don't want you to put anything in the chat. Just think about it. What advice would you give them to keep building? Whatever that advice is that you would give that mentee or that friend or that person, some of you who are coaches or whoever you're coaching, whatever advice you would give them, I want you to use that advice on yourself. Use that advice on yourself. And if you think about it in that way, sometimes you can self coach. We can self coach ourselves to at least to further than where we are. And then we get to a place where we can't coach ourselves anymore. Then you need a coach to help you. But whatever advice you give someone else, take that advice and use it for you. Take that advice and use it for you. Pull yourself up out of whatever slump you may feel like you're in. If you feel like nothing is moving, remember one brick. That's enough. Lay one brick. So identify what you're building and why it matters. And then name whatever's trying to stop you. Name whatever's trying to stop it. Name it and take one intentional action anyway in the face of it. That's how you build and battle. Take one intentional action. If you on here and you know you need to be making content, you know that you need to be doing more, you have something that you have in your heart to do, you have dreams to do this, dreams to do that, and you want to do these things. You're going to have to step out and do it. You're going to have to fight the battle that's yours. Remember, I said every battle is not yours to fight. And you're going to have to step out and do it. Step out and do it. So do this for me as we get ready to bring this TLT to a close. I know uh, it's not very lengthy, but it is my hope that it is enough for you to begin to move forward in whatever it is you need to move forward in. So as you are thinking about all that I said, remember the anchors. Remember to be honest about your battle. Remember to stay anchored in your why and build daily, even in the battle. Nehemiah, when they were building the walls, this is just reminded of that. When they were building the walls, when they received the threats, they didn't stop working. When the work was hard, they didn't stop working. They worked with their tool in one hand and their weapon in the other. And that's what it's boiling down to, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to learn how to fight while you build. And then the stuff that you don't need to fight, don't fight it. Keep building. But always be ready for the battle. Always be ready for it. Don't be caught not ready. You were built for both. If you called to lead, you were built for both. You were built to be able to build and to be able to battle. You're strong enough to build the dream, and you're brave enough to fight through the struggle. I know it gets hard sometimes. I know. I'm not telling you that days don't get hard. I'm telling you, you built to build the dream, and you're brave enough to fight whatever's trying to fight you. So keep showing up brick by brick, day by day. I want y'all to do something for me. I want you to share this particular live with leaders that you know, people that you know who've been building and feeling like nothing is working. They've been frustrated, they've been going through, and they are in a fight. Share this with them. Share it. I mean, this is my thing. I want people to win so much that I want to give you everything that I possibly can for you to win. So invite some people. Tuesdays, 4 p.m., live on YouTube, IG, TikTok. Invite some people. I want to build a community of leaders that are not trying to compete with one another, but are actually trying to win together. We're stronger together. Listen, 100 of us is stronger than any one of us could ever be. So let's win together. Invite some people to join us on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and share this live with them. I want the conversation to be fruitful, and I want this value to be added to every leader that I could possibly get this in front of. Now, I want to ask you all if you have any questions you want to ask. You're welcome to ask them in the chat. All right, y'all. All right. Well, listen, y'all, it's been an amazing time as always. I always look forward to getting together with you all and sharing and adding value. If you all, again, if you have any questions that you didn't feel free to ask in the chat, you're welcome to DM me and I'll answer back. All right, y'all, it's been lovely. Until next time, peace.